Guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Allie.
And I'm Chuck.
And if you're new here, we are AlliChuck Adventures. This week, we are taking you to Chicago, Illinois.
Allie's never been to Chicago. I've never really been as far as exploring. So while we're having RV repair work done here in Indiana, we figured we're a couple hours from Chicago. Let's just head on over and spend a couple nights there. Well, we are all checked in at our hotel here. A lot nicer hotel than where we came from, I have to say.
Yeah.
And we're going to head into Chicago at this point to try to find some deep dish pizza. Chicago style. Well, we can see this Chicago skyline over to our right. And not going to lie, this is going to be the biggest city I've ever driven in. A little nervous. And my goodness, is there a lot of tolls around here. We just paid a toll, and 3 miles later, guess what? We're paying a toll again. So here we go. More tolls. I don't know where we're at, but I think we're underneath the city of Chicago right now. I don't know what's above us, but it feels like we're in tunnels for sure. Oh boy.
Pretty crazy.
I gotta turn left up here. Where do I turn? It's not telling me where I'm going.
Oh, it's lost signal. That's not good.
Lost
oh,
signal.
Now it's coming back.
Well, we haven't been here 5 minutes and I'm already stressed out beyond belief. Getting into a parking garage and finding parking, almost running over a pedestrian. Oh my God. I do not like the city life, just saying. But we are heading to get pizza, hopefully.
Maybe that'll make you feel better.
Maybe it'll make me feel better. I know a shot of alcohol right now would make me feel better, that's for sure. So we made it. And my goodness, I'm ready to eat some pizza, but it's gonna take, they said what, 30 minutes? 30 to 40 minutes for the pizza. So, this parking garage was quite the expensive parking garage.
$50, but
No, don't exaggerate.
$49.
Okay, there you go.
But we come out, we exited the elevator, come to the Bronco.
Allie's like, check your side of the Bronco, make sure nobody hit it.
And look what we got! You've been backed!
That's awesome. A $50 little Rainbow Bright Buckaroo. But the parking was almost as expensive as our meal, but the Chicago deep dish pizza at Lou's was awesome. So today is going to be day 2 of heading back to Chicago. Yesterday was quite an adventure for sure. We just trying to find parking yesterday was kind of scary for us out-of-towners. We found a parking garage, realized that it was quite expensive at this parking garage. If we would have waited just a few minutes later, we could have got it for $10. It said after 3 p.m. it was $10 until midnight. Well, we got there, it was about 2:45, so we ended up paying $49 for just a couple hours. All we did was park, went to Lou's Pizza, and ended up ordering a deep dish pizza for the 2 of us. And when we first went in, he said it was going to be 30 to 40 minutes for the pizza. So I think we spent maybe 2 hours tops for $49 parking. Crazy. At that point, we ended up driving around town, went and drove by the Bean. That's going to be our goal for today, is to hopefully maybe get out and see the Bean in person. We actually just drove by it yesterday. And then we just ended up just driving around and driving along Lakeshore Drive a little bit. We drove down through Chinatown, which was kind of cool. And today we're going to eat breakfast somewhere here in Chesterton, Indiana, and try to maybe get a little bit better game plan as far as where we're going to park today. And it's just kind of try to park centrally and just, take advantage of however much the parking is and just try to, walk the town for the most part. But I guess we should have known that, it's a big city. Kind of like Nashville. When we were in Nashville, parking is expensive. We're just not used to that. So keep that in mind. If you've never been to Chicago, parking is expensive from what we've seen so far. St. Patrick's Day weekend and they're going to be doing the River Green up here or what. But we are on our way trying to find this Millennium Park parking garage that's underground, from what we understand, up here near the Bean. Well, one thing Chicago has taught both of us is you can't be in any rush getting around, because it is just nonstop stop and go traffic once you get into this downtown.
We just got finished eating at Portillo's near Chicago. We didn't go downtown to eat there like we had been recommended because it's so packed right now in downtown Chicago with St. Patrick's Day festivities going on. It was so bad. We were literally sitting bumper to bumper for about 2 hours trying to get through, and people were rubbing up against the Bronco and trying to get by, and I literally almost had a meltdown. Like, it was so bad. I've never been in traffic and around mobs of people like that before. I've been in some pretty hefty crowds, but this took the cake. This was unreal. This is where Portillo's started. The chain was, the first location was here in Illinois, and then it just branched from there, and found out that actually there's a couple locations in Florida actually very close to us, one in Tampa, one in St. Petersburg. So we'll definitely have to check out those locations and grab us a dog. I actually had the world famous chocolate cake, and it was the best chocolate cake I have ever had in my life. It was hands down amazing. If you're ever there at Portillo's, you need to grab yourself a piece of chocolate cake.
So, first Chicago dog, what'd you say?
I would say it's definitely up there with one of the best hot dogs I've ever had.
My mouth is burning from those peppers. Woo, that's good.
The flavor is unreal. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just all the flavors mixed. It's like perfect. Very good. Oh my goodness.
Wow. Alli gets cake and I get beer.
Oh my gosh, it's very moist. Wow.
Well, we are leaving Chicago and have to say, kind of disappointed. We got to do nothing except waste a bunch of money in tolls and parking and gas, trying to figure out where we're going. Not a great experience for us. So on the way back from Chicago, Alli was like, you should get off and check out the town of Gary. We are in Gary, Indiana, and we are looking for Michael Jackson's childhood home. Growing up in Indiana, I'd only been to Gary, Indiana one time. I do remember it being kind of an industrial town. My goodness, were we shocked about how much of a ghost town Gary has become. I mean, we hardly seen any people. All the buildings, for the most part, looked like they were abandoned, windows broken out. From what we read, I guess Gary was an industrial town built on steel and the steel production, and I guess it started kind of slowly dying in the 70s from what Alli was reading. So sad to see all the buildings just vacated, empty, all the windows broken out. But we did know that this was the home of Michael Jackson when he was a child, so we figured, hey, look it up and see where Michael Jackson's childhood home is. We'll go by there and see if it's still there. But we did find Michael Jackson's home, and as you can see, people have left locks all over the gate. It is gated around the house. I cannot imagine how they grew up in such a small little house. I mean, this thing was tiny, and that was a pretty large family, the Jackson 5. So, but it looks like it was really well kept. It was one of the little bright spots of Gary, Indiana, getting to see Michael Jackson's childhood home. After we left Gary, we then made our way towards South Bend, Indiana, because we wanted to check out Notre Dame University. Well, we are on the campus of Notre Dame. I don't know if we're supposed to be here or not, but we're here, and we're heading down to see the Basilica. So we've been walking already for probably half a mile. It's a gorgeous campus.
Makes me miss college days. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But we just got finished checking out the University of Notre Dame, and it definitely exceeded our expectations. I knew it was going to be beautiful, but it was gorgeous. And I can see why people love going to school there. It's just so peaceful. The architecture was so spectacular.
So one thing we really want to do when we go back in that area is check out the town of South Bend. You know, it was getting dark when we were there, so we didn't have a chance to really explore, but it looks like a really cool town with some really cool old architecture. So we actually went and visited our friends Mike and Lynn Wagner from Wandering Wagners a couple times on this trip. Once before we headed to Chicago to say goodbye to their dog Guy, and again on our way home. We met up with them and a couple other friends.
Last night we met up with the Wagners and the Fitches and met Bill Porter, a new gentleman, and we ended up having dinner with them, and then went back to the Wagners' house for a little bit and hung out and watched the dogs play, and then we decided to head out and start heading south. Because they live literally right off of I-75, we were able to jump on the highway and head south, and we stayed in Lexington, Kentucky last night.
Well, good night's sleep, other than the fact when we came in, all the lights were unplugged, and I had to pull the bed out to plug that light and that light in behind the bed. Why they were unplugged, I don't know. That light was unplugged. This light was unplugged. This was open, that was open, and all the drawers were open. Not exactly sure why, but the night went off without a hitch, and we got us a decent night's rest, and it's time to head on south to night stop Snellville, Georgia, on our way back home.
We are at Briscoe Park here in Snellville, Georgia. This is the park I used to come to all the time as a kid and teenager and adult. A lot of good times here.
It is our last day on this particular road trip. We are leaving Atlanta and Snellville.
Sad.
Leaving Alli's hometown.
It's always sad for me when I leave here.
Yeah. We had a good time though, spending time with our friends Craig, and I got to spend a little time with Susan. Alli did. Because by the time Susan got home, Alli was already in bed, and by the time Alli woke up this morning, Susan was already to work. So unfortunately, Alli didn't get to see Susan this time. But we met Craig down at Summit's for dinner last night, and Alli had some wings, hot wings, and I had one of the best Reuben sandwiches I've ever had. The actual waiter talked me into trying the Reuben, and wasn't disappointed. It was very, very good. But good food, good friends, and now it's we see Stone Mountain up here in the distance, and soon we will be on 75 South heading towards home. Right now we just stopped at Buc-ee's.
The Buc-ee's in Kentucky, and I got this cute Buc-ee shirt. I always like to get a Buc-ee shirt at a new Buc-ee's that we've gone to. This one says,
Buc-ee's.
Greetings from Buc-ee's, Kentucky.
Hey, that rhymes.
The Bluegrass State. It's cute. I love anything red, white, and blue.
And now we're in Buc-ee's, the normal
And
Buc-ee's that
then-
we stop at most of the times, which
I've gotten a t-shirt from here, so
Yeah.
I had to get something new. And I'm so in love with these cute little tubs. We have one of these at home, but I had to get it. It's one of my favorite colors. Thought it was cute for the RV. And I don't know if this soap is going to fit me, it's a little thick, but this soap smells good. Golly Bloom. It's Lang Lang green cedar wood. Looks good.
And we're talking about maybe stopping at that Carol Sausage and Country Store that we overnighted at, the Georgia Peanut, if you've seen our previous video there. Don't know if we will. We may just motor on home because it's been a long week here and we're kind of tired and kind of ready to be home. But if we're needing a bathroom break and it happens to be around that Carol sausage, we're going to stop and get me some more steaks and get her some more pork chops.